I'm going to be 20 soon, and lately I've just been sitting here and reflecting on the fact that there's still so much time, and honestly, so much untapped potential ahead in my 20s. I spend a lot of time reading the comments you guys leave on these videos, and honestly, some of you are already so far ahead of where I was just a couple of years ago. It's genuinely inspiring. But at the same time, I see a lot of people in their mid-20s and even their late teens who are just overwhelmed. They are looking for a bit of a roadmap, a way to get to where they want to be by 30 or even 40, without burning out and without feeling like they already have fallen behind. We live in an era where you can open up your phone and immediately see a 21-year-old driving a Porsche, talking about how they retired their parents. And it creates this intense pressure. It makes you feel like if you haven't made your first million by 22, you've somehow failed at life. There's this general idea floating around that your 20s are just for wandering, making mistakes, and figuring things out. And while that's true to some extent, you are definitely going to make some mistakes, and you should give yourself the grace to make them. I also think your 20s are the absolute perfect time to build your foundation. It is the decade where your small, seemingly insignificant daily decisions start to slowly stack up. And those small stacked habits are going to echo into your 30s, your 40s, and eventually dictating your quality of retirement. I remember being 15 like it was yesterday. The years really do move fast, and they only seem to move faster the older you get. So in this video, I want to talk about how to calmly and intentionally set yourself up for success. How to lock in financially, mentally, and physically. And not by stressing out or to subscribing to toxic hustle culture, but by taking 7 simple, sustainable steps in your life that your future self will deeply thank you for. I want to be clear. I don't have the craziest net worth in the world. I do not have it all figured out. But I do have a hard-working mentality, a good job, and I'm slowly building my side projects. I'm also practicing these exact habits every single day. We are in this together, so let's get into it. Alright, step number 1. Untangling your bad habits before they become just who you are. When we're young, our brains are incredibly adaptable. There is a scientific term for it, called neuroplasticity. Basically, it means your brain is like wet clay. Every repetitive action we take, every thought pattern we indulge in is slowly wiring our biological baseline. Hitting a vape every morning, doom scrolling on TikTok for 5 hours, or going out and partying every single weekend is often just brushed off by society as being young. We tell ourselves it's just a phase, or that we'll stop when life gets serious, or when we get that first real job. But the thing about human psychology is that if you do something long enough, the brain stops viewing it as a choice and starts viewing it as a default setting. It becomes your identity. I'm just unwinding on my phone before bed. Slowly turns into, I physically cannot focus for 10 minutes. I'm just being social on the weekends. Slowly morphs into, I don't know how to handle stress or feel confident without a drink in my hand. You don't want to wake up at 35 and realize your coping mechanisms are actively destroying your peace. So you need to take a quiet, honest audit of your life this week. Just observe yourself. Notice the habits that give you the cheap, instant, unearned dopamine. Maybe it's endless scrolling. Maybe it's just junk food. Maybe it's complaining. Whatever it is for you. Recognize it without judging yourself too harshly for it. Then start slowly replacing those habits with higher quality activities. Notice I said replacing, not just quitting. If you just try to stop scrolling, you'll go crazy. You have to replace the scrolling with a book, a walk, or a podcast. It might feel a bit uncomfortable and boring at first, but protecting your peace of mind and your attention span now is infinitely easier than trying to rewire your brain a decade from now on. Give yourself grace, but hold yourself accountable. Step 2 is mastering the stuff people think is boring. I'm just talking about the basic financial literacy. The biggest, most dangerous trap in your 20s is consumer debt. The credit card companies, the banks, the car dealerships, they make it incredibly easy to finance a lifestyle that looks fantastic on Instagram, but secretly draining your peace of mind behind the closed doors. They want you to buy things you can't afford to impress people you don't even know. Carrying credit card debt at 25% interest rate means you're literally trading your future time and your future freedom just to pay a bank for something you probably didn't even need in the first place. Let's keep financial literacy simple and stress-free. First, focus on paying off any high interest debt you have, and make a promise to yourself to never carry a credit card balance again. Use them for the points, sure, but treat them like debit cards. Second, build a quiet little emergency fund. Start with 1 month of living expenses and slowly stack it up until you have 3 to 6 months saved up in a high-yield savings account. Because when you have that safety net, life changes. A flat tire on your car is just a minor annoyance and not a financial crisis that ruins your entire month. Having cash in the bank is the ultimate anxiety reducer. And finally, start your investing journey. Open a Roth IRA or whatever the tax advantage retirement account is for where you live. People think they need to wait until they are making 6 figures to start investing. That is a massive mistake. Time is actually more important than the money you invest. If you just invest $50 a month into a broad index fund like the S&P 500 starting right now, the magic of compounding will do the heavy lifting for you over the next 40 years. It's not about getting rich quick. Getting rich quick usually leads to getting poor quick. It's about starting slow, guaranteed boring growth. Step 3 is prioritizing skills over status. We live in a culture that is deeply obsessed with looking successful right now. People are using buy now, pay later apps to finance designer clothes. They are taking out massive loans for entry-level luxury cars. And why? To project an aura of success. But here is a fundamental truth you need to internalize. Status is a depreciating asset. The exact moment you purchase the status symbol, it loses its value. The car depreciates the second the tires leave the lot. The designer shirt is out of style by the next season. Skills, on the other hand, are an appreciating asset. They are the one thing nobody can ever take away from you. Instead of spending your money and your energy trying to look like you've made it, spend your quiet evenings actually building the foundation to get there. We live in the information age. You can learn almost anything for free on YouTube or through cheap online courses. Build up your skill set so you become undeniably valuable. When the economy shakes a little bit, the person with the financed Gucci belt and no hard skills is panicking. The person who spent their weekends slowly mastering a technical skill is completely fine. Step 4 is curating your social circle and your environment. You've probably heard the classic Jim Rohn quote, "You are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with." It sounds like a cliche, but it is real. Your habits, your ambitions, your health, and your overall peace will naturally mirror the people you are surrounded by. When you decide to start bettering yourself, some people in your life might not get it. They might say things like, "Come on, live a little," or "You used to be more fun." And honestly, that's the whole point. You are changing. You are evolving. You don't need to be mean about it. You don't need to make a dramatic exit from your friend group. But it's okay to gently step away from the scene that leaves you feeling drained, hungover, and broke. Start intentionally surrounding yourself with people who talk about growing. Avoid people whose only conversation is gossiping about others. If you look around your hometown right now and can't find those growth-minded people, that's also fine. Find them online, like in my community here. Subscribe to keep evolving. Let books or creators be your mentors. Spend time working on yourself until your new mindset naturally attracts the people in the real world. Step 5 is taking care of your future self. When you are in your late teens and early 20s, you operate under the illusion that you are physically invincible. You can get a greasy pizza at 2 a.m., sleep for 3 hours, wake up, and still somehow make it to class or work feeling totally fine. Because your body can handle this abuse in the short term, most of us treat our bodies like cheap rental cars. We put terrible fuel in it, we drive it way too fast, and we never do maintenance. But the invoice for that biological abuse always comes due in your 30s or 40s. If you don't build a baseline of health right now, trying to start from absolute zero, at 35 you're going to feel like absolute trash. You're going to feel like you're pushing a boulder up a mountain. Keep it simple and sustainable. You don't need to become a competitive bodybuilder. You just need 3 basic pillars. Number 1. Move heavy things a few times a week. Resistance training is the ultimate physical retirement plan. It builds bones density and it fixes your posture from staring at a screen all day. Number 2. Eat real foods. Try to follow the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, eat single ingredient whole foods. Keep the protein high and drink a ton of water. The other 20% of the time, enjoy your life and eat the pizza. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. The most important one, protect your sleep. Hustle culture lied to us when it said, "I'll sleep when I'm dead." Sleep is not a weakness. Sleep is the ultimate performance enhancer. It is when your brain physically clears out toxins, when your memory consolidates, and when your body heals. If you are constantly running on 5 hours of sleep, your emotional regulation is destroyed and your anxiety will spike. Guard your 8 hours of sleep like it's your job. Step number 6 is learning to deeply love solitude and structure. We are currently living in the most overstimulated, distracted era of the history of human civilization. Every notification, every app algorithm, every breaking news alert is engineered by very smart people to steal your most valuable asset, your attention. Because of this constant noise, a lot of us are absolutely terrified of just being alone. The second we feel a hint of boredom, we reflectively pull out our phones just to numb our brains. If you want to build something meaningful, you have to get comfortable with the quiet. You have to learn to love the boredom, because boredom is where creativity actually lives. True progress is forged in those peaceful Friday nights spent in your room learning a new skill, or those early Saturday mornings when you're at the gym and the rest of the city is still sleeping. But to make the most of that quiet time without feeling lost or lonely, you need to give yourself a gentle structure. I highly recommend implementing what I call the Sunday reset. Take 1 or 2 hours every single Sunday to quietly architect your upcoming week. Open your calendar and block out gym time, and block out the specific windows for deep work on your goals. When your week is structured, you completely remove decision fatigue. You don't have to wake up on Tuesday morning feeling overwhelmed, wondering what you should do today. You have already made the decision. You just wake up, look at the plan, trust your past self, and peacefully execute. Routine is not a prison. Routine is actually what gives you freedom. Step 7 is using all of that saved time, that mental clarity, and that financial discipline to start slowly building something that you actually own. Let me be clear, working a 9-to-5 job is fantastic. It is a great starting point. It provides structure, it pays the rent, it funds your emergency account, and it keeps the lights on. Do not let the internet shame you for having a normal job. But a job gives you very little leverage. You don't own the business, you are just renting your time to it. If the economy shifts, your income can go to zero overnight. Your 20s are the absolute best time to build equity in yourself, because the risk tolerance is incredibly high right now. You probably don't have a massive mortgage, and you probably don't have kids relying on your salary to survive. So use your quiet evenings and weekends to start building a side project. Build a YouTube channel, start a niche newsletter, create an e-commerce store, or freelance your skill. It almost doesn't matter what the specific vehicle is, as long as your name is on it and you own the equity. Take it slow. Do not put pressure on this project to replace your full-time income in 3 months. Just work on it consistently. Even if your first 3 projects fail completely, and if it does succeed, it eventually decouples your time from your income. It gives you asymmetric returns. It gives you leverage. Building your own thing gives you unshakable confidence. You stop operating from a place of fear and you start operating from a place of peace, knowing you have the ability to generate value over your own terms. Look, you are in a really defining, beautiful chapter of your life right now. The little quiet choices you make today will slowly stack up over time and create the reality of your future. You don't need to rush or to stress out. You don't need to have it all figured out by tomorrow. Just start cutting the distractions and build your foundation one day at a time. If this resonated with you, I'd love to have you join this community we're building here. Subscribing helps me keep making these, and a like really helps the channel grow. And if you're looking for what to watch next, YouTube thinks you will like the video on screen right now. See you next time.